We're back! Prem Heads in the building, bringing you all the roundup of Premier League fixtures. Match week 5. It's all happening. The thrills, the spills of the Premier League. I'm going to be joined by the two amigos, Double A and G, keeping it G. But as always, hit that like button and enjoy the intro. Let's go! Okay, I tell you what, we're back, guys. That intro always gets me. It gets me ready for it.
I'm always like,
big up, Mike Dez, the beat man. Mike Beats by. What is it? Beats by Dez, isn't it? Beats by Dez. Big up to you two in the show again. How are we both feeling? G, you feeling good? Ready to go? Refreshed after a nice long sleep last night after you left me to do a stream on my own. You enjoyed?
Yeah,
ready to go?
I had a very nice sleep. I had a great dream as well, to be fair. But now I'm refreshed. The transfer window is done. So now I reckon we can just go into the season and just talk about the football side of things now and worry about that. So I'm happy, man. Let's go. Let's go.
Thank God for that. I can't wait to do it. Double A, we can finally just talk Premier League. We know who's in what squad. We can sort our fantasy team out properly now. Are you ready to get the league underway? This is when it starts for me.
Yeah, and I'm feeling all right. I'm not saying that because we're not playing great by any means, but where I feel like we're kind of like just like fighting through a rough patch. And as long as we can keep picking up points, I do feel our form's going to improve. And if we do that, then I feel good. But I think these next few weeks are going to be critical, man. So
these next few weeks are going to be
I want to be optimistic, but boy.
Exactly. Will Nunes come back in? We're playing some tough games. We've got to face Everton, Arsenal in those fixtures, Wolves as well, who are playing well at the minute. Wolves are kind of getting a bit of a rhythm. It's not going to be easy, but we've got the followers back in the building to get us through it. We've got the famous Liverpool saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Let me take this banner off here so we can see what's going on. Famous Liverpool saying, "Hey, how is everyone? We're all good today." We've got Cave Gahori. How's it going? Yes, Cave. Nice to see you in the building. We've got, oh no, look who's here. Mr. James. Why does he always plug himself? Do you know what I mean? James, come in the building and big up your boys for being on the show. Stop plugging yourself. We're doing a stat show to preview the derby tomorrow. How dare you come on here and do that to us? How are we today, Ash? You know what? I'm good. These two are good too. Don't forget about G and Double A. These two are good.
It's fine. Don't worry.
Ghost is rising. I'm doing so bad now on FPL. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I can't wait to get into FPL. I cannot wait. The last couple of game weeks have been interesting.
I wonder why they've been interesting now, Double A, because G's probably creeping up the league. Did you see how remember last time? I don't care about FPL. FPL means nothing to me.
It's all about the big six or whatever it was, isn't it?
And now he's ready to get going. Azad, Ellis, how are you? We're good. Ish in the building, Mr. Equalizer, the caption man. I know LFC didn't sign Arthur in his dream. Look, LFC definitely didn't sign Arthur in his dream.
That was not the dream,
do you
bro.
know
Trust
what?
me.
That's probably why G got a good night's sleep, thinking, do you know what? We've got somebody in. I can have a good night's sleep. I can rest and leave Ash to it. And finally, Mohammed in the building again. What's good, guys? I missed the last live about Arthur. Watch it back. Just because you didn't watch it live, get over and watch it back right now and slap a like while you do it. Everybody else in the building, slap a like. But let's talk about this match week. Well, we've missed 2 match weeks because it's been a midweek. But let's talk about Wednesday and Tuesday night's fixtures. Manchester City Double A. It just looks too easy. Like they're just making this look like the Farmers League.
They are. They are. What can I say? And Haaland, he's just terrorizing teams. And I don't even know what to say, but it's just you're just hoping like they're going to drop points somewhere and Pep's going to start this tinkering for no reason and doing something just to destabilize the team. Because at the moment, like I was really hoping Bernardo Silva went to Barcelona just to weaken them because I think he will weaken them so much. And the fact that he's still there, boy, man, it's not looking great for everyone else at the moment.
It's not looking great. Gee, it gets to a stage, right? Everyone's in the group chat going, oh my goodness, Crystal Palace 2-0 up against Man City. And I'm like, Man City are still going to win. Like, you just know they're coming back from 2 goals down. If that's Liverpool, it's game over.
No. We're already losing, to be honest with you, if it's 2-0 down. Like, as Double A said, bro, like, City are actually boring me now because, you know, when you're watching the game and you're just thinking, why? Like, I knew you was going to do this, but why, man? Like, can you not just slip up? Like, can you not just have a bad game? Please, just one bad game, just to give the rest of us hope that we can actually catch you, you know?
The famous Liverpool, I hope. We just hope City are going to slip up soon. Some of these results, they came back. City never do that. Exactly. This is a different City we're seeing. This is what we're saying. This isn't City of old where they might draw the game or lose the game. It just looks easy. They've got players to bring on. I don't even want to talk about it, but we'll get to, I'm guessing, one of the City players in a little while because what we do on this show, we bring players of the week, ballers of the week, and we go through team of the week before we even touch on the Fantasy Premier League. But this is the Fantasy Premier League code for anybody that wants to join. Make sure that you join today. And guess what? It's free, people. You don't have to pay. So get over there, join the Fantasy Premier League, join in, be part of the team because we control G when eventually he starts doing bad again. He might have had a good week, but he's going to come bad at some point. So let's talk all things player of the week this week. Let's look who we've picked for our players of the week. Oh, surprise! Look who we've gone with. All 3 of us going with the man who is just on fire right now. And everyone in the comments, tell us who your player of the week is. But this is the one. Double A, 9 goals. 4 games. It's 5 games now, I think it
5,
is.
yeah.
9 goals, 5 games. Haaland's a monster. He's something. Like, most strikers, they hope for, say, 15 goals a season is like the mark for a striker in the Premier League. Haaland has got more than half that in 5 games. There's 38 games in a Premier League season. How many is he going to get this season if he stays fit, Double A? What number are you putting on it?
But he's going to get at least 30 goals. Easy, I think, personally. It's just whether he gets rested or not. And if he starts every Premier League game, if he starts the 38 games, he'll get 50 goals plus. Definitely. Because it's what you got to realize with this guy, right? People were comparing him to Lukaku when Lukaku had that game and he had 7 touches and that stuff and whatever. They're saying one game, I think it was Bournemouth, he only had like 12 touches or something like that. But the difference, you see, when Haaland gets his touches, even when he's not getting the ball much, his touches, they're important touches, if that makes sense. And his movement off the ball, the guy always looks dangerous, man. He's making like if you watch Man City when they play, this guy's making some direct runs all the time. And because Man City are so patient in the way that they play their football, a lot of times they don't catch his runs when he's making them. And you can see he's getting wound up, but he doesn't stop. It's not like he gives up and thinks, you know what, F this. Like, they don't see what I'm doing. Why am I going to keep running? He just keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. So eventually he's going to get his goals. And like you'll see against Crystal Palace, actually, obviously I didn't watch the match live, but when I watched the highlights back, it looked like Crystal Palace had him under control to an extent. But then once he kind of like started slowing down a little bit and then being a bit more patient with the runs and then letting the team go forward, then making the runs, then he was just electric and they couldn't handle it. And
that's the worrying thing, isn't it? The worrying thing is, like, he can do all this, get marked out of the game, not get touches, but then walk out the game with 3 goals, 2 goals. Like, he's doing absolute madness. But Ishi's saying here, G, Defo Haaland, but got to shout out Alvarez, Zaha, Carvalho, Lavia, Odegaard. Look, Zaha for me is showing to be that guy right now. What do you make of what he said after the game when he came out and he said, like, he wasn't sure why we sat back. We should have kept attacking and going for 2 goals. Should more players say this? Do you think Vieira will have been pissed off with him, or do you think Vieira will have thought that that's what he wants in his players? He wants them to be annoyed if they don't try and kill off the win.
I think he probably would. Like, I don't think he'll be annoyed. No way. And he knows what Zaha's like as an individual. He's been there now for however long, so he understands what Zaha's like, the type of personality that he is, kind of thing. But I think you know what it is in England. Like, this British media, they're so sensitive. Like when we watch, like, any American sport. I was going to say NBA, but any American sport. When you hear some of these players talk, oh my Lord, the English media couldn't handle that. They would never swearing, talking about performances and things like that. Like, I love that because you're just a human being. If you're upset because, your team are 1-0 up and then you've decided to defend, like, you're going to be angry about it. Everyone deserves to hear it because fans are also going to be angry. So fans almost want that kind of relationship with the players. Like, this is as close as we're going to potentially get to being that close to Zaha in terms of how he feels. If he feels the same as us, then we feel a little bit like, okay, we can understand where he's coming from in a different situation, where now we're not looking at him like he's a robot and, things like that. So I just think when it does come to stuff like this, the English media is way too sensitive, man. They any bit of flavor, oh my goodness, like Haaland. Now, I don't condone swearing because you shouldn't swear. But when Haaland did that interview, like his first interview, I loved it. In Germany, he does it all the time. He was doing it all the time because that's just how he speaks, and he's just being honest, and he wears his heart on his sleeve a little bit. So I want to see more of that, man. Like, that's what the media is missing right at this current moment. A bit of flavor, bit dry.
Yeah, actually, let me ask you guys something. Yeah. Did you see the Man City Crystal Palace game?
Yeah,
I watched the highlights.
But what do you think of, like, the goal that they had disallowed?
Who?
Crystal Palace, because they would have went 3-0 up at that time.
I would have been vexed if it was my team. I would have been vexed if it was my team slightly. I would have been vexed.
Because I checked it out, and actually that's a rule that you can't basically impede the goalkeeper when he releases the ball. So you can't even stick your foot out.
Yeah, just block him off.
But because I thought there was nothing actually wrong with the goal, and I had to check the rules to actually see why this goal was disallowed. So I thought that doesn't make any sense, because all he's done is throw the ball out, it's a rule. Now you can't.
Do you have to actively get out of the way of the keeper?
I don't think you have to actively get out of the way, but you can't. If he throws the ball out, you can't just like try and block it, which I don't think is fair, to be honest. Once the ball's released from his hands, if you're anticipating that and the goalkeeper can't see that and anticipate that, what's wrong with that? Like, I don't understand what's actually wrong with it.
Yeah, I've never looked at a rule like that. To be honest, like, if that's like giving someone a free pass, like, the keeper have a free pass
exactly.
Hands, like,
it's like saying someone.
The rules have always been one hand on the ball is available to be kicked, to be hit. Look at what Henry did when he headed the ball out of whoever's hand it was.
And apparently that's why they changed it. That's why I get it. If it's like, even if you want to say the goalkeeper's got one hand on the ball, but once he releases it, what's wrong with you anticipating blocking it? I don't get that. That's like blocking a pass.
Yeah,
for me. I don't know.
They're going to have to start making it like a free kick then, where the player has to be a certain amount of yards back before the keeper throws it, because, as you said, that's unfair. I feel that's a bit unfair.
Yeah. Ishi's saying he loves that from Zaha as well. He loves coming out, being honest with the interviews.
Yeah, true.
As well. What I want to talk about, though, it's been transfers. There's been so many. Before we move on to our baller of the week, which team do you think has done the best business this window? When you think about everybody that's come in, I mean, Nottingham Forest have been a madness. Another one. Like Ruben, DJ Khaled. I think 20 players have come in for Nottingham Forest. And we're not talking like championship mid-level players. We're talking like some decent players in at Forest. But is it too much? Who's your team of the window for transfer business?
if I just go based on profile of player, Chelsea. But if I actually go in the team that's like improved the squad properly, and maybe I was gonna say Spurs or Arsenal. I would have said Man City, but I feel like with Man City they didn't need to buy Haaland. They just bought Haaland because they can buy Haaland. Like, they didn't need him. Kind of thing, like, but so I won't really count City in this. They got the best signing though. But I would say profile of player Chelsea, because they look at like Aubameyang, Koulibaly, who else are they got? Sterling. Like, you know what I mean? These are high profile players that, you know, that they're getting in kind of thing. So I'll give them that. But maybe Spurs or Arsenal. I can't really pick between the two, man.
Alice is saying Arsenal. We knew G would say Arsenal. I should have just told you all G was going to say Arsenal anyway. Ellis saying Arsenal has to be Man City, says Marquet. Big up Marquet as well in the comments. Arsenal, smart business from Liverpool, famous Liverpool. Nottingham, 21 players. They bought 2 teams. That's madness. Literally. Imagine buying 2 teams. Liverpool can't buy 2 players, and they buy 2 teams. Wow. That is absolutely mad. I wonder if Double A is going to say Newcastle. That's what I want to know. Double A, who's your transfer team of the summer?
We're starting to see who our favourites are in this Premier League, aren't we?
You know what?
He's going
you know what? I am going to say it. But I can't split between them and Spurs, to be honest. Because if I'm going on who's improved their squad, if Arsenal had bought like a central midfielder, then I probably would have edged with them. Who did they buy?
And that
they're playing Zinchenko, but they bought Vieira, didn't they? But he's not
Vieira,
yeah.
But he ain't played. But he hasn't really played. Actually, yeah. But I don't know if Vieira is going to improve that. Like, you see, Arsenal, they need they need somebody like that's got like a bit of fight in them, that's defensively. Like, you see, if Arsenal got Casemiro, then I would have definitely said Arsenal. Like, because Casemiro is kind of what they need. He, I think, is perfect for what Arsenal need in the middle in order for them to progress. Someone that's just gonna do the dirty work.
He would have been perfect.
Not get sent off all the time like Xhaka doing the dirty work as well. And is a bit of a leader that can drive everybody, and like when the chips are down. So, and surprising as Man United got him. So, well, I don't think Arsenal paid him kind of wages. But aside from that, yeah, I think Newcastle have done good business. I wouldn't have said Newcastle, but until I saw but Isaac, he looked really good actually. And
so good.
I wasn't that sure, but like I think Isaac was all right. But then when I saw him playing, they said he's hardly played any football and he wasn't match sharp and that. He was kind of terrorizing us still.
Yeah, literally.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. So I think Newcastle they've done good business, and I think Spurs have done good. Like, I think as they're actually improving their squad in places they need to improve, I think Spurs have probably done. I'll probably edge towards Spurs if I have to pick one team. So I say they've probably done the best.
They've brought in the right type of player to fit what Spurs want to do. That's what you've got to look at. It's all good saying Chelsea have brought in Aubameyang, Koulibaly, Sterling. Like, these are big names, but it's kind of like when you're playing FIFA and you buy the big names for your team. They do well because it's a video game, but this is real life. Todd Bowley's playing FM in real life. Todd Bowley's going to run out of money as well. 100%. He's going to run out of money.
If they don't win 100%, he ain't going to give them this kind of money again. No way. They need to win something this season.
Not a chance. Ishi's saying, all I'm saying is CFC signed Sterling, Koulibaly, Zakaria, Oba, Cuckoo. Like, I'm looking at Tuchel now to coach. If Tuchel can't get the best out of this team now, he's going to be gone soon, surely. He has to. The results, they're not going his favour, G. Everything's going against him. Could you see Tuchel being one of the next out the door in terms of managers?
The only thing that Tuchel will have in his favour is he's not under Roman Abramovich, because we already know how Roman Abramovich used to roll. He was on sacking Mourinho twice. So, you know what I mean? And that's their greatest manager like ever in their history. So for when he can sack Mourinho, there's nobody else safe, to be honest with you. But they have got. I forgot about Leeds as well. I forgot about Leeds. I would say I don't think he'll get sacked anytime soon unless they really like have a bad month or 2 months. If they start having like 2 bad months where they're not winning games, he's gonna have to go. But we always got to ask this question: who else is out there? That's what I always think when owners think about sacking a manager, if they're of like the top level, should I say, who else can come into Chelsea and do something? Who else is even available? That's the problem, really. If there was availability, then I would say, yo, you better be careful because I don't know, Jurgen Klopp is available, or Mourinho is available, or Pep Guardiola is available. But when there's no one available, now you're kind of scrambling around trying to find a decent manager. So it's a bit tricky.
What about Zidane?
I don't really rate him. I don't really rate him. I feel like when he won the Champions League back like 3 times, and I definitely respect that. But I feel like anyone could have really run it with that team. Like that team was so all-star. Like you had Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos, Casemiro, Modric, Cruz. Come on, like if you didn't win it with those players even once, I was gonna look at you a bit funny still.
So true. Fulham have done good business as well. Pereira, Polina, Leno, they're showing that they're a team that can maybe stay in the division, maybe even finish above mid-table. They want to let us know as well that Willian is back in the Premier League. You know what Willian's like? It's like when you see Wesley Snipes keep popping up in all these new films. Yeah, he's at Fulham. It's like, like back in the day when you're a good actor like Blade, Wesley Snipes, top class film, Passenger 57. But no, he's popping up in these random like chick flicks and things, and you're like, Wesley, come on, call it a day, bro. Call it a day with the dusty.
Your acting career is over, my friend. Let's just produce something.
Willian is West. That's what I'm going to start calling him, Wesley. Even if he plays well, this is Wesley from now on. Rodgers next to go, says James the Brain. Zidane just had the right players at the right time. It's a good point, but you've got to give him credit for what he did. Like, you can't discredit a man getting 3 Champions Leagues. Like, wow, that was an achievement. Let's go on then to Baller of the Week. This is a section where we choose that player who's overachieved, someone who we didn't expect to come out the woodwork. So this is our Baller of the Week. I went with, and I'm going to pull the graphic up in a minute, but I want to talk about him a little bit. I went with Armstrong from Southampton. I feel like he's under the radar. All Southampton players are. Someone just said before, Bella Kotchap, I call him Bowl of Ketchup, the new signing.
Don't let me hear you say that.
Nah, disrespect,
great defender, like presence. It's everything Southampton needed. But this guy, Armstrong, I feel like he's so under the radar in the league at the moment. Could get picked up by a big club. Everyone's talking about Gordon. What's that?
I feel like it's the wrong way around. I picked Alvarez.
Yeah, I picked Barnes.
Sorry. Yeah. I apologize, guys. I apologize.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't pick
I didn't pick Harvey Barnes.
Geez, like Harvey Barnes, please. But yeah, Armstrong, under the radar player. Do you think he could pick up quite a few stats this season and get picked up by a big team next year? Double A.
If I'm honest, I haven't really seen that much of him this season, so I can't really say in that sense. But what I would say is, in previous seasons, he has I have taken notice of him in certain games. I thought, this guy, he's actually all right, man. He can move a bit. So yeah, I hear you in that sense.
I agree. G, you've not gone with Harvey Barnes. You've gone with Alvarez. We said this, didn't we? We all said this, all 3 of us, in the first Prem Heads show of the season. Watch out for Alvarez because no one's talking about him. He was signed last season, went back on loan. He's looking like a real player. Sterling's gone. Alvarez has just picked up where Sterling left off.
Yeah, and you got to realize he's a natural finisher as opposed to Sterling. So when he does get into these positions, if you saw his goals against Nottingham Forest, I know it's Nottingham Forest, but if you see the way he got his goals, they were very striker-esque. If he's a striker anyway, to be honest, but he's a good player, man. He's a good player. Like, I don't even think he's even under the radar. I feel like people knew he was good, but you didn't. Maybe because it's Haaland, Haaland's going to play all the time if he's available. So Alvarez might just have to pick his moments when he can play. Maybe Pep might make a new tactic where he has 2 centre backs and 2 strikers. I don't know, like you know how Pep Guardiola is. So I feel like when it comes to big up Ellis, when it comes to Alvarez, I think he's a baller, man. Like imagine having someone like that as your second striker who doesn't even need to play all the time, but you know when he does play, he's gonna perform. Like he's a better version of Jesus.
That's Jota-esque though, because Jota, Jota can come on and get a double from the bench if he needs to.
Jota's not a striker though. I feel like we made him into a striker just due to positioning and that. I look at Alvarez and I think to myself, you look like an actual finisher. Jota will score the weirdest goals, and you just think, how the hell did you score that? Like, who scores goals like this? But he scores good goals. I can't lie. I definitely can't lie.
No, so true. And then we move on to yours, Double A, Barnes. A lot of people saying you can't pick Barnes when he lost last night. There's always a Karen in the comments, isn't there, Mohammed? There's always a Karen. James saying, Barnes was Leicester's best. Mohammed, I love you, really. You know I always love you, Mohammed Al-Hawaj. You're always
cool man Karen, cool man Karen. Don't have it. Don't have it.
That is crazy.
Barnes was Leicester's best player last night, says G. This is it. Leicester are a poor team, Double A, but they've got some good players who need to try and look for a move elsewhere, don't they?
Yeah. The reason I picked Barnes is because, like, the last few games I've seen Leicester play, this guy, he's on bits. He's playing better than Maddison. He's playing better than Bart. He's playing better than everyone there. But he's not getting no help. He's not getting no help at all. Like when I watched Chelsea Leicester on the weekend, when I watched that game back, Vardy could have killed that game himself. Yeah. But he had some really good chances. He just didn't take them. But for me, because I was going to go with Alvarez actually, but Alvarez for me isn't a surprise because for how Pep wanted this guy, I knew this guy was going to be good. I knew he was good. Yeah, and he was already an Argentinian international. So I don't see him as a surprise. That's why I didn't pick him as baller of the week, to be honest. But Barnes is stepping up for me because no one would say Barnes was Leicester's best player. But at the moment, he's looking their best player by far.
Easily.
He's like the only one that's holding anything up for them, even though they're bottom and whatever else. And he's actually shining and playing well. It's the rest of the team that's playing trash. So I'm not going to judge him on that.
Yeah. I said this at the beginning of the season. Everyone was going, Bowen. Like, Bowen played well last season, don't get me wrong. He would have fit Liverpool's system. But I said, everyone's sleeping on this Harvey Barnes.
What did I say about Bowen? What did I say?
Pardon?
You
said, yeah. One season. All right, G. All right, we'll give you that, G. We'll give you that.
The thing with Bowen's all right, but it's just the kind of money that they were quoting for Bowen. I'm like, man. Let Bowen stay at West Ham. Let him stay there. If that's what they want for him, let him stay there.
What price then?
He's not worth that.
If Fofana's just gone for, was it 70, 75 million to Chelsea?
Yeah.
What price would you put on Barnes' head then? Because he's English, he's a prospect, he can get goals in the right team. What price do you think he's going to go for if anybody comes in?
All right. Personally, I think the guy is worth like 40, 50, if you're asking me. 50 at max. But because of Leicester don't have to sell for one, and because he's English, I could see even going into like 100 million, like 3 figures. Like, not because he's worth that, but because just how it works with English players and whatever else, and Leicester don't have to sell him. Rice I don't even think Rice ever was on, to be honest. No. Rice, for me, is so overrated, that guy.
You know what? For the first time, and this is only going to ever happen once, so you better clip it up and save it for the future. I will.
Wait, G, we need. Now you've bigged it up, G. We need to give you like something to lead into this. So hold up a little minute. Let me give you a little lead into this one.
All right. I'm only going to say this once. Double A, you were right. He
Whoa! Gee, keeping it.
Say that again.
Go on.
Say it again.
Valet, you were right. Rice is very overrated. I thought he was good. I genuinely believe, like, yo, this guy would be a decent enough player. But the way I'm looking at him this obviously West at this beginning of the season, so things can obviously change. But even when I'm looking at him now, I'm even just thinking to myself, bro, I would not pay 3 figures for you at all. Like,
literally,
I'd rather get Arthur Melo. I'd rather just keep Arthur Melo that we've got here on loan and then pay to get someone like Declan Rice. 100%.
He ain't even, do you know what? He ain't even brown rice. He's quinoa. That's what Declan Rice is. He's quinoa. He's not even brown rice. She's saying 50 to 60 million for Barnes.
Hey, nah, you're cheeky. All these players are gonna come to you one day, you know. I swear to God.
These people are gonna. Ishi's saying couscous, bro.
Bro,
oh my days!
Hey, Rice, if you ever see this, I'm not even talking.
Yeah, Rice.
I'm talking.
I think you're a decent player. I just think you're overrated by the media. I just want to step this up now. I've never said like he's shit. I just think he's overrated in the media.
I don't think
in
he's
country.
either. Like,
but all this T1, all this talk. Just remember, none of this came from my mouth.
Oh my days!
So don't take it out on me.
We want to make it. Declan's coming for us after this. Oh my goodness! Oh, let's move on anyway to our team of the week. We've all chosen our team of the week. 11 players. There they are, up on the screen. I'm going to leave it up on the screen. G, talk us through your team. What made you pick these players? Also, G probably put them in different positions, but I sorted his team out for him a little bit. Maybe I should have swapped Alvarez and Salah. He put like Martinelli as an attacking midfielder. I mean, Double A put him as left central midfielder. So I thought, do you know what? I'll just sort your team out for you a little bit.
I just did it, you know, just to put them like he's a forward, if that makes sense.
Like,
yeah, kind of thing. But yeah, either way, it doesn't really matter. Longstaff, that one for me, that was just more of a. I even surprised myself when I put him in there because I was like Longstaff, but then I thought to myself, nah, against Liverpool, if you watch the full game back, he was very he was able to distribute well, he was able to break up play well, and I felt like in that first half, especially against us, obviously second half we were kind of on top. But first half, I just felt that when Newcastle had the ball or when Newcastle were trying to break up play, he was kind of the guy alongside Joe Linton as well. But he was the one I was looking at in the midfield, and I felt like he shined in their midfield. Who else is in there? That's kind of a surprise. I couldn't pronounce it. Sinistera.
Sinistera.
He's
playing well at the minute, isn't it?
He's playing very well, man. And I just felt that performance. Who did they face last? I think it was Everton. Against Everton, I was watching that and I was like, yo, this guy is kind of balling out today. Like, and I didn't really know much about him, to be honest with you, but I just felt, obviously you got your Tyler Adams, your Aronsons, who are now they're getting known and everyone knows about them anyway, kind of thing. But he was the one who surprised me the most. Salah, listen, Salah's my guy, man. He got 2 assists. No one can chat anything about Salah. Martinelli played well against Villa. Haaland is Haaland. Alvarez is Alvarez. Dalot played pretty well against Leicester City last night after getting a yellow card. And I thought he was going to be on the ropes for the game. But even when he got that yellow card, defended very, very well.
Do you think Dalot's underrated? Because I see him as like, he's quite, he's a professional. He's good at defending. He's okay going forward. He's just an okay, just nice, solid, probably what United need, someone who can do a little bit of both and not just defend. Would you look at getting him out the door if you're United? Or is he the kind of person that might put everything on the line for the club? He's got the right mentality to be a so-called United player.
When your option is Wan-Bissaka or Dalot, yeah, I don't think you're in any position to be saying, yeah, Dalot, you can walk out the door. I promise you that. So I would rather keep Dalot over Wan-Bissaka just because of the way that they look like they want to play with the fullbacks and stuff like that. He offers me a bit more in an overall sense. As you say, he got that dog in him. Do you know what I mean? Wan-Bissaka's got that spider in him or whatever you want to call it.
The
So
spider.
it's like I just feel like he can do both roles. Yes, he's not consistent, and that's what kills him. His consistency hasn't really been there since he's been at United. Like when I speak to my friends, like he's not really the one like that. But
Yeah,
if he stays consistent, he can be decent. He can be decent.
it's so true. Ish Double A saying Salah can't see team of the week. I'm sorry, he's been missing. Do you agree with
Hey,
that?
two
Because he's not
assists, my
made
guy.
my
Two assists. Two assists.
two assists, but he's not in my team of the week. Double A, is he in yours?
No,
Y'all are
not mine
haters.
either.
Y'all are haters.
Not in mine
This
either.
is your this is your team of the week, though. Double A. We've all chose Neto after getting absolutely drubbed by Liverpool. A nice clean sheet. Is that why we put him in?
Literally.
There wasn't many clean sheets, was there? Like
There weren't many,
literally, defense was hard to choose this week.
I think he did decent enough. And do you know what? I think for the most part, I think Henderson done quite well. But they got beaten 6-0, so you can't be even that lets in 6 goals. And he did make a bad mistake for what I think Haaland's second goal. I think Nick Pope played decent against us, but
he was ill as well, though.
But we didn't have that many shots on target, to be honest. We had hella shots, but hardly any of them actually were on target. So what really did he have to do apart from like simple catches? They were mainly routine saves. That's why. But if we were going over the weekend, I probably would have gave it to him because Newcastle were a bit under the cosh, and he was putting out some good saves on the weekend. But yeah. Wednesday.
Ramsdale is one that Ish has been impressed with. G, you'll be happy with that. One of your boys.
Okay, just a quick question to you both, yeah, because I don't know. You might pick him, Nick Pope, Ramsdale, or Pickford. If you were Gareth Southgate.
I don't want an Arsenal season ticket with you. I've told you, no.
I would. You'll probably say I'm biased as well. I would pick Nick
Pope
right now.
Of course, he would pick Nick Pope. Who else is he gonna fucking?
I'll pick Nick Pope right now. But if this was based on last season, I would pick Ramsdale, to be honest. But on form, at the moment, I'll pick Pope. But Pickford for me now. Pickford, you're definitely first.
Pickford's fourth choice for me right now. You've got to put Henderson above him.
Yeah, but I'll put Henderson, as well. Henderson's in contention too.
You're right.
Who do you pick, G? He's going for a minute. He's going to say it.
I'm going to say exactly what Double A said. On form, you kind of have to go Nick Pope. And I feel like the type of stature of goalkeeper that he is, he's quite big, he's imposing. I feel like he probably could get it, but if we're just going based off like last season into this season, Ramsdale's been the best English goalkeeper. You know, like that, Ellis, man. Chat to the people. They're not listening. But I think I'll probably go with if England were facing the World Cup tomorrow, I would have to go Nick Pope. You know, I feel like he'd be a better goalkeeper for them at this current moment in time. But Ramsdale would probably be the choice that he might go with. All I'm saying is I don't want to see Pickford in goal. I don't care who goes in.
Yeah, but you know Pickford's going to be in goal though. Like this is so true though. What Ish is saying, Pope's distribution is stuck in the 90s. He's such a traditional goalkeeper, isn't it? Like
I'm sorry for being a goalkeeper, Ish. Goodness gracious.
No, man. We know that your job's to keep.
But
the
do
ball
England play out the back? That's
no,
the thing, though.
To be honest, look, what does Pickford do? Everyone says Pickford's distribution is so good. He just gets so angry, he kicks the ball so hard, and it just lands on someone's foot. Like there's literally no direction or aim in that. Pickford, I'm sorry. Pickford, no, not for me. I'm going Ramsdale. I put Ramsdale in there for you, G, because I think after watching, and I know it's biased because I'd probably change my mind if I watched every dressing room. But after watching the Arsenal all or nothing, that's a guy for me, doesn't care about anything other than football. He just wants a clean sheet. Even when Arsenal win games and concede a goal, like he's fuming. He's fuming with the result because he's meticulous. I think he's definitely someone that he wears his heart on his sleeve. And I like that about goalkeepers. But at the same time, you've got to be cool, you've got to be calm, which he's got that in his locker as well. So I think, Ramsdale.
Remember, Arsenal doing well. Obviously, at the moment, we don't know what they're going to be like end of the season, and I do think that they will drop off. But you got to realize they're doing well. Something doesn't sit right with me when I see. It's probably a bit traditionalist, like stuck in the 90s kind of thinking. I don't like it when I'm seeing these lower league players, like unless you're like a sick player for a lower league team. I'm not trying to see no 17th place goalkeeper in goal for England. That don't even make no sense. Like put Ramsdale in there. Obviously, there's not many top English goalkeepers at top clubs anyway. Ramsdale probably is the only one, to be honest with you, and Nick Pope at Newcastle. But
are you for that though as well, G? Like, for example, when you look at, say, Chelsea, we're seeing how crap Mendy is this season.
Yeah.
Because the last season and the season before, Chelsea's defence was very good, so he didn't have to do much. Sometimes people just choose the goalkeeper that's higher in the table because they've got more clean sheets, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're a better goalkeeper. It just means they've got a better defence. That's what I think with Pickford sometimes. We're seeing it now because his defence is shocking. So we're seeing him get dogged on all the time. But when you look back to when he was England's number one, he had a great defence in front of him, like seasoned defence. You're looking at the likes of Coleman, Digne. He had a good defence back then. So do you think that plays into account?
Yeah, obviously, look, like I said, it's in some positions, not everywhere, because like you can find, I mean, I can't think of many top English players who even play for the top teams, really, when you think about it. I mean, Declan Rice plays for West Ham. Calvin Phillips obviously has now finally moved. I can't really think of all the, like, Harry Maguire, all these kind of players. Like, it's kind of difficult now. The pool that we've got is relatively small. Back in the day, you obviously all the top players are kind of playing at the top teams anyway, so it was a bit easier to pick players from these top teams. Gerrard, the Man United lot, the one Arsenal player, and Ashley Cole. Like, you know, there was quite a few out there, but now you have to look at West Ham, Leicester's Harvey Barnes, like, you know, Bowen, Declan Rice. We're gonna kind of need to shop in this kind of pool because these guys can't really get into these top teams, to be honest with you.
So true. I had to pin this up because, Ellis, I've seen you for the last 5 streams. When's Ash's forfeit for the betting banker? Because he said Gomez is going to score a goal. He's coming tomorrow. Don't you worry. The Wheel of Fortune is going to be out tomorrow. Tomorrow, 9:30. Get over to the Stat Show. We'll run the Wheel of Fortune. We'll see what my forfeit is, and I'll take it like a champion. Yes, I will. G, have a word with Jerry. Have a word, because Pickford on his day is better than Alisson at his best. Ali's just more consistent.
You see Jerry, yeah? Jerry said he wanted to buy Harry Winks and all of that. So, Jerry, I'm not even hearing anything you're saying right about now. So just remove this comment and let's go to the next comment.
Let's get that one off and let's take a look at Double A's team a little bit more. Players to point out. Obviously, you've got your United players, you've got your City players, but Souček, in a team that's not playing very well at the minute, he's shown that everyone thought he might be a one-season wonder, but he's shown that he's probably the one that you can rely on at West Ham to put in good performances, not Declan Rice. Or should I say Declan Quinoa?
Well, judging it on their last game, I think he ran the midfield, to be honest.
Yeah.
And he scored a decent goal. And actually, I don't know if you guys, what you saw of that game, if you saw any of it at all, West Ham actually should have beat Spurs. They actually should have beat them. To be fair. So that's the reason I put him in.
Say no to drugs, kids.
That's what happens. This is what happens, kids. You think Pickford is better on his day than Alisson at his best. Everybody's on him. Look at this. Jerry, focus on the road. Jerry, drums your back. Jerry, death row bunning split. Everyone's on you, Jerry. You should have
Jerry, listen, look, the weed, sometimes it can get to your head. It can make you hallucinate and make you think things. So if I was you, bro, just put it down, man. Trust me, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, bro.
That's it. We're weed friendly over here, but disclaimer, we don't condone any type of drug use. Souček turned into Vieira. This is what we're saying. Like, Souček looks classy. How old is he? Like, why is no one actually thought about Souček in the window? Like, would you have? I know it's done now, but you know what I'm going to ask. Would you have taken a Souček at Liverpool on loan, like we've done for Arthur?
I'll let double.
I would. Do you know what? I would, but I think Souček gets. It's hard to say if he. I think he doesn't kind of improve our midfield, but I'm not sure if he's consistent enough in that sense. And I'm not sure if he's what we need in midfield.
Yeah,
because he's just another hard-working guy. I think we need a bit more than just another hard-working guy in midfield. That's the reason I'm a bit iffy with Souček in that sense, personally. But yeah, we definitely we needed something. We need something in midfield anyway. But that's another conversation. I'll leave it as that.
Jay, are you taking Souček? Because James isn't happy. He's saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You lot roasted me when I suggested this."
Did you?
No, he did. He did.
I think what James does, he thinks things in his head, but doesn't say it because he knows he'll get roasted. So maybe that's what he's thinking.
Let's put it you this way, yeah. Tchouameni, Barella, Jude Bellingham, Souček. From there, you figure it out yourself. I don't know. I don't want it. I don't want it. No. I ain't trying to have that.
Don't want Souček. But G, someone who you tipped your hat on, I think we all did. We tipped our hat on this guy to be good this season. He's not really delivered. His team have, but he's not. Saka. He sort of fell off. Like he's not putting in the performances. Ishmael, the king of captions, is saying, Bukayo knackered. He's so knackered. Not Bukayo Saka, Bukayo knackered. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. He's just been a bit like he's one of those purple patch players, man. He'll probably go in 4 games time and go for 3 games and bag a goal and assist in every single game. I do think that he has been overworked, in my personal opinion. For someone so young, I feel like I feel like I feel like this is what I keep telling you, bro. Like these drugs that he's taking, yeah, it's crazy. Like, maybe he's on bigger stuff than the weed. I don't know, but I think Saka he'll come good at some point in time. But I do think with him, he's been kind of overworked. They use him a lot in that team, obviously because he's one of their key players. So I understand it to that degree. But I do think that they need to maybe not get him out of the team, but there needs to be some level of rotation where he's not playing every single game because there are too many games.
They've got the personnel as well, haven't they, to rotate? Yeah. They've got the players now to be able to rotate, so he just needs a rest. Like he plays near enough every game for Arsenal in the past season.
And you're not benefiting him by just you're kind of doing what we do to Salah, which is you're almost trying to just play him back into form. So we know Salah's off form, so we keep playing him and pray that he just comes into form at one stage in time because they're those type of players. But I feel like where you got they're lucky. They've at least got an option to play there. We don't have anyone else. So I feel if you rotate him a little bit, he's young enough, he'll learn, and then you can push forward. I feel like it'll benefit him more in the long run if you just took a time out of the team for a little bit.
Yeah, so true. But that's our teams of the week. There we go again. We've pinned them up. We don't need to discuss anymore because it wasn't the best
game. A bit harsh, so.
Who do you think's being harsh?
I think that would have been a bit harsh. Yeah, I think that would have been a bit harsh on Saka. To be fair, you know, like all right, I would say I do think that he does need a bit of a rest.
Yeah,
but Saka's not like a guy like who scores a lot, like that many goals, or gets that many assists. That for me, Saka's a bit like Diaz in that sense, where like. When you see him and you watch him play, he always looks good. Generally, he looks good when he plays, but it just doesn't. He doesn't really score so much or get as much assists as you would expect him to. Like for example, like I would say, like Salah, someone that like doesn't necessarily always play well, but he will score or he will get an assist. And sometimes he don't really do that much, but he will just light up and he will play well for like 5 minutes of the game, and then you'll think, flipping out. That's why we kept him on. That's why you can't take him off. But he might not do that much for the rest of the game. He might work hard and whatever else. But Saka, I think, consistently does play generally well.
Yeah,
but it's just that he doesn't. Yeah, but it just doesn't get those assists and goals so much as other players do in those same positions. I agree. That's why I think it's a bit harsh saying that.
Yeah, I think we're not giving him too much heat. We're saying he's quality. We're saying he needs a rest. He just needs a rest. Like, and I know he works so hard. Like you just said, he works so hard that, bro, just let him have a rest for one game. Who are they playing this week? Arsenal play United this week. They play United.
I don't think they're going to rest him in that game.
Rest against United. Then they play Everton. Maybe rest them. But then they play Liverpool. So play him for Liverpool. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with
rest him against Liverpool.
Winks was better than Henderson and Milner, apparently. JJ said. Jerry, look at where Winks went on loan. The man went to Sampdoria. Like this is Galacto days. I love it. I love this show. It cheered me up this morning. But this is Prem Heads, and we do need to touch base on the fantasy league. It's fantasy time. We're going to run down our tips. So it's tip, top, flop time. We're going to run down our tips. We're going to tell you who we think we will put in our team. So please join the league. Get involved. Because I think G wants us to have a look at how the league is this week. I don't know why, but something good must have gone on.
Listen, this is just a part of the show. So we've got to get here.
Yeah. So let's go on to... tip, top, flop. It's that time, tip, top, flop time. Let's have a look then, G, who you've gone for this week. Some very similar picks in the group this week. But, G, you've gone with your tip as Anthony Gordon, your top as Haaland, and Trent as your flop. So, basically, you're saying Anthony Gordon's going to run Trent ragged this weekend. So, take Trent out, put Gordon in.
Yeah. I just think that after watching that Newcastle game and realized there was no St. Maximin and he looked absolutely crap. Now you're going to come up against another winger who currently I don't rate, but he's on form. And sometimes when a player is just on form, they will just cause you problems in that kind of regards. Everton are at home. They're going to look for Gordon. He's going to be their outlet. He's been their best player this season so far. I genuinely believe that he's going to give Trent. He plays on the left-hand side. Yeah, I genuinely believe he's going to give Trent some kind of issues. And Liverpool do not keep clean sheets. I don't even want a Liverpool player in my team anymore because they don't keep clean sheets at all. Kind of thing. We've only kept one. Yeah, defenders. And where Trent isn't getting the usual like assist kind of thing, where we know, all right, he'll get 3 assists in a game. So like it's one of them ones. So I think. The thing is, I agree with what James is saying. I think he's overrated, but when someone is in form,
is he only overrated though because of the £60 million price tag?
Yes. I don't think he's a dead player. Maybe I've said it, but I don't think he's a dead player. But he's overrated for that price range. Like I don't think he's a £60 million signing like kind of thing. But he's on form, man. He's on form, and I think he's going to give Trent hell. And we already know Trent can't really defend like that, so it's going to be problematic.
It's going to be problematic. So Haaland is. Do you know what? We'll just say it.
I'm just going to put him every week.
All of our top picks. Haaland has to be in there. So we're going to have to find a way in a second to squeeze Haaland into our team. But you know what's going to happen? We're going to squeeze him in, and Pep's going to rest him this game week. You know what's going to happen.
Who City got this week?
Man City play Aston Villa away.
Nah, he's playing.
Yeah, it's a big centre backs as well. Konza, Mings.
Yeah,
he's going to play against those guys. James is saying Aubameyang, a certainty, surely.
Who's Chelsea
It's
got?
a tough one because, like you said, he's 9 million. That's a lot of money when you can get the likes of a Harry Kane, a Haaland.
Who Chelsea got this weekend? Do you know?
Chelsea play West Ham.
Nah, I don't trust that one too tough.
No,
that sounds a bit icky.
There's a few juicier fixtures this week where you would rather have players in. But let's take a look anyway at Double A's tip top flop for this week. Your tip is Andres Pereira, and your flop, the same as mine, is Mendy. He's in my fantasy team, Mendy, and I need to get him out because, wow, he's just fell from the heavens. He's having a shocker, isn't he, this season, Double A?
He is, but it's like what you said earlier, to be honest. It's because Chelsea's defense was so settled and secure.
Yeah.
He kept a lot of clean sheets. Now, I don't think Mendy's a bad keeper, but I just don't think he's as good as he was being made out to be, just because of how good their defense was. And now, because of that uncertainty in defense, you're seeing him being exposed. Pereira, I think, is doing well at Fulham, and he surprised me how well he's actually doing there. And Haaland's Haaland. I don't even want to talk about Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland's literally Haaland, isn't it? I've gone with the same top, same flop, but my tip is Pascal Gross. Look,
You like him, don't you? You really like him.
I love Pascal Gross. Do
You're
you know
always
what it
picking him
is?
and you-
I never did, right? I never did. And the more I watch it, I love football, like you two do. You like watching it for the right reasons. He's so clever. He's this ghost guy. He's like a mix of like Frank Lampard. You know how Frank Lampard used to ghost into the box and just pick up goals? He plays a little bit like that, but he's got the technical ability. I'm not going to say David Silva, but he's got the technical ability of someone of a higher level. That's what I'll say. I'm not saying
smoking whatever.
David Silva.
Very good smoking. This
Juan
week.
Mata. Let me go Juan Mata. So a mix of Juan Mata and Frank Lampard. That's where I put Pascal
Jesus
Gross.
Christ, this guy must be elite. Like,
Listen, the numbers do not lie. Plus, he's always involved, whether it's assists, whether it's goals. He's so high up. We'll pull it up in a minute. He's so high up in the fantasy table. And this week, Brighton are at home to Leicester. Leicester are playing poor. Are Brighton still third in the league? Brighton. Let me just pull up the league table. Brighton are fourth in the league as well.
Where's
so
Liverpool?
Brighton have had a great start. We're Liverpool.
Yeah,
Liverpool
I haven't checked the league table.
are sixth. So we're creeping up there.
How many
Sixth
points
in
off
the
top?
league. G was hoping we'd say like 12th then, so he could like say something like, damn.
How many points off top?
7 points off Arsenal. 5 points off City.
3 games, give or take. Yeah, 3 games you need to win in a row.
Are we bigging Arsenal up enough? I know I don't want to give you this Arsenal fan label, but on a serious note, are we bigging Arsenal up enough? Have they had a big enough challenge yet? Have they had a nice, easy beginning to the season? Do you think they'll drop off at some point?
100% they'll definitely drop off. I think with Arsenal, I feel like they are. I feel like they're being bigged up enough because the reality is Arsenal fans have to. Because I know Arsenal fans be moaning about all of this stuff. I told you he's smoking the same thing. I think when it comes to Arsenal, their fans have to. Obviously, he was good though. Like he was pretty good.
Johnson was low key baller. He was a low key baller.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Arsenal, let's put it like this: last season when they played those 3 teams, they lost their first 3 games, and they didn't have hardly any players, lost to City and whoever else that they were losing to. People were getting onto them because obviously they didn't have the players and all this kind of like excuses, to be honest with you. So now that they have started to win games against these teams, you have to big them up in that sense, but. It is true. When you haven't had a test, it's difficult to measure where you really are because the reality is every team that they've played and beat so far, I kind of expect them to play and beat them. So if they didn't, we would be onto them for not winning those games. So straight away, they have to understand that as Arsenal fans. So they need to also measure themselves against the top 6 teams. Once they beat those teams, then we can start saying, you know what? Arsenal looking real good this season. Until you play those kind of teams, you can beat all these crappy teams. They don't really make any. No one's going to take you that seriously yet. Right now, all they're doing is putting themselves into form, and they've got confidence, which is fantastic for the team, which might help them in those games against the top 6. But until you face the top 6, I can't look at you any other way other than, do you know what I mean? You know, you're not one of the big boys until you beat one of the big boys.
Double A, look, 5 games, 5 wins, maximum points, 9 goals. 9 9-goal difference, +9. Arsenal, there's no evidence there that they're going to drop off. Could they challenge? And I know it's early, but could they challenge City this season, or do you still see it as City and Liverpool's league?
I don't really see there's no evidence. As G said, they ain't played no one. So, and all the games they played, you would have expected them to win. Now, the Villa game they deserved to win, although it was tight at the end. It was tight. It was a tight win. The Fulham match, they got over the line in that match, but that match weren't easy for them. So, and I won't be surprised if Man United beat them, to be honest. I would not be surprised at all if Man United beat them. So if they come through this United game, and they come through all right, if they get the victory and they actually play well, dominate the game, then I'm going to have to look at Arsenal and think, oh, okay.
Yeah,
maybe now. But until Sunday, at the moment, for me, this is just Arsenal previous season. They're just beating the teams actually that they should be beating, where sometimes they would have fell off at this time. Yeah. But as I say, I don't really feel they've been tested, and they've got away with like the Fulham game, for example. That match in other seasons, that wouldn't have went the right way for them. The fact that they have, it shows me a little bit more, but enough to challenge City for the title? Nah, not for me.
No, I agree. I don't think they can get the title this season. I think Arteta's done a great job. I've got to hold my hands up. I've got to say he's looking like he is a true... do you know what? Out of the player managers, he's probably the best. Out of the ex-players. I know Pep's an ex-player, but when you look at that era, your Gerrard, your Lampard, your Rooney, Arteta, even Vieira, I think Arteta's doing a better job than any of those.
You can say that now. You can say that now, but then I would say, all right, if you look at Gerrard and Vieira, for example, I would actually go with Vieira because of the team that Vieira's with and how he's got Crystal Palace changing the way they play, and they are actually on their day. They give everyone a good game. Gerrard, I would say it's a little bit unfair because the stature of players that he's all right. Gerrard has got some good players at Aston Villa. Granted, I'm not going to say that, but compared to Arsenal, it's a bit unfair. Now Lampard, at the moment, you will say Everton, all right, cool, but Lampard had Chelsea and he didn't do nothing with them. And that same team, Tuchel, won the Champions League. So the Lampard one, I say, is fair to say, but Gerrard and Vieira, I'm not so sure because I think
I don't know if I'm rating Gerrard as a manager. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not saying I'm rating him either, but Arteta in previous seasons, I wouldn't have said so. So the fact that he's had a good start this season, I'm not just going to judge it on this season and just say, Arteta's doing a much better job than these other so-called player managers. So that's the only reason. But he's definitely doing better than Lampard, though. Definitely.
Yeah. What I rate about. Go on.
No, go on, Jays.
No, I was just gonna say what I would say about Arteta is even when he didn't even look too solid, he was still able to pick up the FA Cup, and I just feel like that gives him a bit of more of an edge over the rest of these guys, kind of thing. Where even though, and because I agree with Double A, like before, I was a bit like, is this guy really the guy? Like he's moving like he's Pep Guardiola with all his tactics and the way he wants to play football and all of that kind of stuff, but is he really the guy? But then when he won the FA Cup, I thought to myself, you know what? For how dead I think you are, the fact that you was able to pull this off and beat some decent teams along the way, you know what? Maybe you're onto something. I don't know how good you're going to be. Maybe you're just onto something. And then last season, when he was being heckled, a lot of people wanted him out and stuff like that. I still felt that he was able to kind of pull through and then obviously got the team to, they should have finished fourth, but they kind of failed at the end there. But this season, if he can get them into the top four, he's just progressing. And it'll be like Jurgen Klopp when he came. They get to one position, get to the next position. You just keep boosting and boosting. That title might not be as far away as we think.
Yeah, I rate him.
All right, but if you look at Arsenal's season last season then, and them not getting, would you say that was a successful season? And that's for Arsenal?
The wheels fell off. Fourth place was
it wasn't a failure. It wasn't a failure because they weren't at the beginning of
to be in fourth place.
They didn't expect to be in that position. They ended up there in the end.
Okay, cool. But then if you look at the season, like, all right, if you look at, all right, for me, because I don't think Arteta's a bad manager,
Yeah, cool.
but I just wouldn't say he's top level. So if I look at like Man United, for example, Arteta's a better manager than Solskjaer. So in that sense, if you look at how the season started and whatever else, I would expect Arteta to do a better job than Solskjaer did, and Arsenal finished above.
But Man United are a better team, though.
No, Man United have got better players. I would have said
players,
I wouldn't say they're a better team. I would say they've got better
yeah.
individual players. But I think Arsenal were a better team than Man United last season.
Yes.
Now, I would say Spurs before Conte came. Conte's clearly a better manager than Arteta. But until that point, and how far Spurs were behind Arteta, I think it's a little bit of a travesty from Arsenal side and Arteta's side that actually Spurs finished above them in the league.
It's true.
So the only teams I would say that should have finished above them were the three teams that did finish above them. But even then, if Arsenal had a bit better form, they could even have picked third. And then I would have said, then they've overachieved.
Yeah.
Then I definitely would have said they've overachieved. But if I look at it on the basis of the season, for me, like I just think they didn't underachieve, but didn't overachieve. But where they were at that last point of the season, you've got to say that they flopped. I wouldn't say that they bottled it and whatever else, but they flopped.
100%.
I think it was bottling it a little bit because it was in their hands. Like it was there to take. They didn't play the teams that should have beaten them. They just played the same teams that they've played already this season at the beginning of the season. But it just showed when pressure is on, it's a different kind of fish, isn't it?
I just wanted to put that in. They played Newcastle and they got
I thought he'd put Newcastle in. I knew he asked to.
But Newcastle were in a bit decent form though. Like in this 2022, they've been in some decent form. So I can't even begrudge them.
Do you know what? Funny enough, when you look at form-wise, even though we haven't even had the greatest start to this season, we've only actually lost one game in England in 2022. That was against Man United the other day. That's the first game we've lost in the league in this calendar year. And coming into the end of last season, we were the form team, and Newcastle were second. Weirdly enough,
with that record, you'd expect to be like excited about Liverpool's style of play. You'd think Liverpool were turning teams over, but our style of play at the minute, it's a little bit.
I think we've got like because we have like bare. I was going to say bare draws, but I don't even think maybe we even had that many draws. But it's been like last season. I don't think we won any top 6 games or any top. Yeah, we didn't beat Spurs. We didn't beat Chelsea. We didn't beat City. We beat Arsenal. Beat Arsenal and Man United. But yeah, it was Chelsea, Spurs, City. We didn't beat them. And those are the 3 teams that you're looking at last season anyway, where you're like, yo, you kind of need to beat these teams. Like, do you get what I mean? Because if you don't beat them, we were 1 point off. Imagine if we had beaten Chelsea instead of drawing. We were 2-0 up, I think it was. 2-2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's those
game. This is what is she saying? We
drew them all.
Every game
we
against the top 4 sides from last season. Every single game. Like, that's madness. To only pick up 6 points out of a possible 18 points. That is...
That's where we lost the league. That's why when people say, oh, yeah, it was, we should have, we're only a point off. I was like, yeah, but you need to understand these games are, as people keep reminding us, they are fine margins. If you don't win them, you don't deserve to win the Premier League. And Man City were over a 38-game season, so much more consistent than we are.
It's mad, isn't it, that Liverpool used to be a team that would lose against these smaller sides but beat the bigger sides all the time, that turn up for big games. No, it's the other way around. We're starting to not get over the line in the big games, the finals, the cups, these little moments.
We have individual quality.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what gets us over the line, if I'm being honest. That's why we've only lost 1 game. We've got, against everyone bar Manchester City, let's be real, we've got better team, like better individual quality than give or take everyone else. So I always feel like that gives us the edge over some of these teams. Like,
Yeah, completely agree. But let's get to our fantasy league. Let's read out who's top of fantasy league.
Can you explain something to me? How do you get 2 free transfers? I don't get it. How does that work?
Because we didn't make a transfer the week before.
So it carries on.
It carries on. So if you go I don't know if the maximum is 2 though. I don't know if you can go 3 weeks and have 3 free transfers. I'm not sure, but you can always. I know 2 is always.
No, it's 2.
Oh, is it 2?
Yeah, 2 is always 2. Leagues and cups. So let's take a look at the league ranking. Oh, Kloppzone aren't doing well in this Kloppzone Championship. Let's look at the KZ Super League first of all. GAA, if you want to pull your teams up, you can, because I might not find you on this. So, G, I know you probably want to wax lyrical.
You ain't going to find me on this one. Don't worry about
it. This week. Top of the KSL, Bobby Dazzler, Andy Borton. Top of the league, 90 points this match week, 317 total. VARGins, I love that name. That's my favorite name. Ganesh Khanna, you're second. You were first last week. You've dropped to second, 1 point behind top spot. Third place, moving up the table, 20th incoming, if only. Braga Johansson. Then joint third place, Bangau Reds FC, Marul Hamid. I don't know how to say your last name, HHMD. I don't know if you've misspelled that or if it's Humd. And in fifth place, Nunes Clear, Zachary Griffin in fifth place, 364 points. So big up to the top of the shop. One of my boys is in the top 10, and I'm not even going to read his team out because it's doing my nutting. But you're in the top 5, you guys. Let's take a look, though, at the Kloppzone Championship. Let's see what's been going on amongst the best of the best. Oh, my days. I had a shocker this week. AA All-Stars, 93 points this week against James Crane.
Click his team.
That's the biggest. Oh, the podcaster, 94 points. Madness against Jack Shepherd, top of the Klops. G, you've won, but you didn't play anyone, so that doesn't count this week. We're not giving you that one.
Of course it doesn't count.
G, 65 points. Average was 62 points, so you were playing the average. You've got over the line, G, this week. You've got your first 3 points of the season, which means let's take a look at the table.
I'm probably still bottom.
You're just behind us in 7th place. You've come off. Oh my goodness!
But who's ahead of Ashley Wilding? It is G. Oh my goodness! There has been a turn of events. Absolutely crazy. G is now only 3 points off of 2nd place. Absolutely amazing, Jeff. Ain't that right?
I need to shape up, but AA, 2nd in the league. Someone's got to put a stop to all the podcaster. 5 wins from 5. He's got some big points. That's big points.
No, because you know why? He's all triple. He triple captain at the right time. Yeah, I think he triple captain Haaland, so he's all right.
It's obviously taking him up in the standings in the KSL. I bet he's close to the top. The podcaster, 25th out of 600 plus. I think there might even be more than 600. How many are in the league? We're 390th. There's a lot, but I'll tell you how many are in the league. I'll add it up. But what we need to do, we need to get our team back up to where it needs to be. So our team so far is Alisson, Becker in goal, Cancelo, Trippier, Cucurella, Martinelli, Ward-Prowse, Salamares, Saka, Jesus Mitrovic. Our bench is Williams, Awanihi, Vestergaard, Gazaniga. Let's make some transfers, guys. Let's see who the people are choosing in the comments. Again, G, have a look through the comments. I know you can't pin them up, but see what they're saying. What do we need to do in this team? Are we all saying that we need Haaland? Is that what we're saying?
I'm saying it. I put Haaland in my team. I said, I'm not even taking that guy out. I reckon he'll score more weeks than he won't. So I'm more than sure that he'll keep scoring. What's the comment?
On this list, AA, are you thinking they've got to go now? In my mind, I'm looking at Mahrez and thinking 7.7, that's a nice little fee. You're not playing, you're not scoring.
He got an assist though, I swear. He got an assist the other game. Last game.
Yeah, but 1 assist for
I
7.7.
know.
He doesn't play as well. Like, he doesn't play full minutes.
I would have to. Yeah, Mahrez will probably. To be honest, I'm looking at the midfield, and the reality is, I'm looking at Salah's such a confusing one, man. I just don't know with that guy sometimes, like because usually
I
you'd
love
say,
how,
yeah,
by the way, I directed a question at Double A and didn't even realise he'd had to leave. Like,
yeah. That's what I
that's
said,
how
yeah.
enthralled I was with the fantasy league, G. That's how enthralled I was.
All right, I'll go through the names that I'm looking at that we could. So I'm looking at Saka, Salah, and Mahrez in midfield anyway. Those are the three but any of those we can pick from.
But Salah, like you just said before, he's getting assists still.
He is, but it's like,
and he's gonna get goals. But is he worth right now 13 when Haaland is the same price? I think
it's Haaland. If Haaland's the same price as Salah, then Haaland will outpoint Salah this season, I believe.
But another thing to take into consideration, when Salah scores, he gets more points than Haaland because he's a midfielder.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a bit cheating, isn't it? All right. Well, Mahrez definitely has to come out anyway, regardless.
Yeah, Mahrez has to come out. We've got Paul Donnelly saying Mahrez out, Haaland in, Salah being bunned still. Salah got to go. Will there be rotation with Haaland? City may not risk him in fear of injuries.
Everyone keeps talking about. Everyone keeps saying this, yeah. And guys, you need to understand, like, they didn't sign him to be a rotation player. Like, he's going to play 9 times out of 10. There's not going to be he's not one of the players who gets rotated. Everyone else around him will get rotated. Mahrez, Grealish, Foden, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne was on the bench the other day against Nottingham Forest. Haaland will always play if he's available, and I don't see him being injured anytime soon. So I'll put Haaland in.
Donners is saying though, as soon as we take Salah out, you know he's going to bag 2. It's just the case. As soon as we put Haaland in, he's probably going to be dropped to the bench.
I know.
Like, this is a tricky time. These are decisions we need to make. But Ellis, I don't agree with this. What's James Ward-Prowse done this season? Like, James Ward-Prowse is holding up at Southampton. Like,
I agree though. No. How many points has he actually got?
Okay, we're doing this right now.
We have to, bruh.
Let's look at midfielders. Let's pull up midfielders.
I mean, I ain't seen his name anywhere, to be fair.
All right, relax. There we go. He's down here next to Andreas, but the price as well, 6.5. Above Trossard, who's a great player. Above Maddison, Neves, Jorginho, Eze, who
look at the names that
Everton's Gordon is above him, £60 million apparently. The names above, we've got Jack Harrison, who's playing well for the similar price. Bernardo Silva's 6.9. He is playing every single week. But look, G, who did I say? My tip. Pascal Gross, 5.9 million.
Okay, I'd rather have Gross because I feel that Gross will get more points than a James Ward-Prowse.
So you want Gross in?
Whoa! I'm just saying. I'm just
saying. No, Ward-Prowse for the price. What's the point in taking him out? Because we can't really bring anyone in. Ward-Prowse for Gross doesn't make sense when Mahrez is 7.7. He's not playing.
No, Mahrez comes out.
Saka is 7.8. He's not a point machine.
All right, so take Mahrez out.
Mahrez goes. Now we've got 10.7 to play with. We've got another free transfer as well, so we can take someone else out. Now, Mitrovic and Jesus are playing unreal this season. But if we took our Nihi out, we've got 16.6 to play with. If we
we get Haaland and Gross?
We couldn't do Haaland and Gross, I don't think. Let's look how much Haaland is.
Haaland, I beg you be a bit cheap, man.
Let's go to strikers. Haaland, 11.9.
Shit.
Just miss out. Salah's 13 million. That's ridiculous.
And this is what I'm saying. For the price, Salah's not worth it at the moment.
But we can't. So you're thinking, take Salah, take our Nihi out, get Gross and Haaland.
I'm just trying to think, man. It's because of the price of Salah. If he wasn't so expensive, I'd say just keep him in it. But when you're 13, That's a lot. And I'd rather have Haaland than I'd rather have Salah. I'll tell you that much. I don't see Salah really overall. I don't see Salah getting that many points.
If you look at it, Salah's not come into the league getting the goals that he got at the beginning of last season. He's kind of carried on his form from the end of last season where he's not having great performances, but he's getting a few stats.
Yes.
But if Salah is playing every single game, and when push comes to shove, he's probably getting goals. He's a midfielder, so you're getting the points. It's tough because it's a lot of money, but that's why he is that much.
All right. What other strikers then? Because we need.
Why don't we see if we put Haaland in? What can we get in midfield?
Go on then. How much
We've got 4.7. I don't know if we can get 4.7, but we'll have a look. What can we get in midfield? Because having Haaland and Salah in your team,
now that would be great. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so Andreas from Fulham, Pereira.
Jack is actually the one I'm looking at, to be honest.
Silva from Brentford's having a great season too. Harvey Elliott, G. He's playing.
The thing is, I'm looking more at who will get me the points. Harvey Elliott won't get you any points. He ain't going to score. He ain't going to assist like that. So I'm trying to think who's more likely to do one or the other.
So you think Andreas Pereira will?
No, I actually think someone. Hold on, who else is there?
Willock's in there. Elanga's in there. If Elanga gets the game time, maybe he's going to pick up some assists and goals.
Scroll to the top. Who have you got at the top?
The top, we've got Xhaka, who we can't afford, but we've got Andreas Pereira, who we can afford. De Silva for Brentford, who is he playing minutes? Yeah, very sporadic. It's hard. He's not playing a lot of minutes.
What about Andreas? What's his points looking like? I mean, what's his game time, looking like?
He's starting every game. He's coming off the last 2 games with about 12, 13 minutes to go. Picked up 2 assists this season.
What do you think?
I genuinely think if I knew Elliott, and I think Elliott's going to play every game, I think he's going to get points for the pure fact that, look, he's got a goal. I know that was in 45 minutes he went off, but I think he can start picking up bonus points for different things. He could start. I think he's going to be a permanent fixture in Liverpool's team. We
can't afford him, though.
We cannot. So why are we talking about Elliott? It's got to be Pereira then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you happy with that? Pereira in and Haaland in, Awanihi and Mahrez out.
I'm definitely happy with having Mahrez out, because I just can't see. I bet he plays this weekend and I bet he scores a hat-trick. But I feel like we're safer with at least having Jesus, Mitrovic, and Haaland, because all 3 of them 9 times out of 10 they're going to start for their teams, and they're the
one of them's going to score every week.
Yes. So we're guaranteed, I reckon, points. It's just about
and Salah.
And Salah. So I think we go with Andreas, man.
Would you rather have Mahrez or Saka? Saka plays more. If we look at points, let's take a look at the points.
Have we used any of our triple captains or anything?
Not
like
yet.
See, look, we're just wasting it.
Saka down here, 21 points. Mahrez isn't even on the first page. Right.
How much is Gundogan?
Gundogan is 7.6. But again, that would mean no Haaland.
Oh, yeah. Say maximum. 6.5. Let's go with Andreas for now, and let's see what the team looks like.
5.5. Oh, we can't afford that, though. We've got 4.7.
Yeah.
So are we putting Pereira in there?
Yeah, put Pereira in there.
And then
because he's playing as well.
Yeah, he's playing week in, week out. He's picking up assists. Like he's starting every game, looking like a decent little player for. Right, that's our team. Let's make these transfers. Confirm the transfers. Let's pick the team now for this match week. So we've got Alisson in goal.
Cucurella, I'm not really comfortable with him anymore. He's bugging me.
Who?
Cucurella, but we haven't got any good defenders else. So
yeah, that's it. But Cucurella, he might, once he gets his feet,
yeah,
Chelsea are going to get clean sheets eventually because look at the defenders they've signed. They're going to start picking up clean sheets. Then he'll get more freedom. He's playing every week. So it makes sense to have him in there. I think it's who you take out of this midfield for this week
Ward-Prowse
against Wolves at home.
They're away.
They're at home. Oh, they're away. Sorry, yeah, they're away to Wolves. Tottenham away though. Fulham.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what?
They're not going to get. If they get goals, it's going to be a Mitrovic header or something that just drops. Maybe a corner for a centre back. Ward-Prowse, you're talking penalties, free kicks, assists from corners.
Take out, Andreas.
Pereira's out. That's our team for this week. 3-4-3. Captain.
No, I have Haaland on mine, so it's up to you how you want to play it. Just because I honestly don't think Salah's gonna do anything that amazing this weekend.
If you look at it though, again, Salah's the one who's playing the weakest team. I'd say in Everton.
I don't know. I would say,
but it's a derby as well. Exactly. Haaland. Let's give Haaland the captain. It makes sense. Haaland. I've clicked him to be subbed. We don't want him subbed. Make captain, vice captain. If he doesn't play, Mo Salah. Boom! Team done. We're ready for this week. I need to make sure I do mine because I am seriously failing right now.
I need to
the greatest of times right now, But everyone in the comments, 3-4-3, best formation. Cucurella, hilarious. Ash likes Gundo. I like Gundogan. Like Gundogan's a top class player.
He's a world-class player.
Bidders is in the comments again. Big up Bidders. If you had a player in your team and they came on from the bench and they scored, would you get points for them? Yes. The thing is, right, if you've got a player on your bench, someone on your first team has to not play at all for them to come on.
Oh, okay.
So if someone on your first team doesn't play at all, they come on, and then you get the points from that bench player.
But if someone in the first, if everyone plays, then that player on the bench won't get any.
Yeah, you don't get the bench players points, which is hard work, but is what it is. Paul Donnelly agreeing. Andreas been a solid sub. To be honest, Andreas might be a solid sub for us this season. Everybody in the comments, big yourselves up again because this show's been amazing. An hour and a half. It doesn't feel like it's been an hour and a half, to be honest. We've had lots to talk about. Signings, ballers, players of the week, everything in between. But it is match week 6 starting tomorrow with the infamous Liverpool. Liverpool, what do you think? Are we going to get over the line against Everton, or is it going to be a trickier game than we think? Merseyside derby at Goodison Park.
I think I'm going for 1-1 tomorrow.
Oh, 1-1. G's going for. I think we're going to see a Harvey Elliott masterclass.
No, for goodness sake.
You know how I feel as well, G. But I see him getting better and growing with confidence each week. He's going to start, no doubt.
When you say masterclass, what does that mean? Like, what's he going to do that's going to make him masterclass? What does he bring that means?
He's going to score. He's going to score. Okay. He's going to have that fire in his belly, winning 50-50s, getting stuck into whoever's playing in that midfield. Mm-hmm. He's also going to get an assist. So he's going to get 1 goal, 1 assist, and he's going to be putting himself about Merseyside derby style. He knows what it means. Harvey Elliott, you heard it here first. G thinks 1-1. I think 3-1 to Liverpool. Before we go, Ellis, Ash may as well marry Elliott at this point. Look, everyone was calling me out for not giving Elliott a fair rating. I'm trying to big the boy up right now to stop the heat. Can we get your Fantasy League codes again? Of course you can. Here are the Fantasy League codes. It's YCEOLC. So make sure you join the Fantasy League, get involved. What I will do as well, I'll put it up while we run the outro. I'll put it up on the banner, the Fantasy League code. But G, it's been a great show. We've been through everything. Another match week in the Premier League. Interesting to see new signings. Mm-hmm. But as always, it's been a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll never walk alone. Peace, bro.